Hi, welcome. Let there be light. All right. So if you're logging on and watching the replay, we are 7 minutes early. You can fast forward. We won't start without you. I'm going to get our stuff set up. Over there. On the range where the deer and the antelope roam. Just kidding. Where seldom is heard a discouraging word. Dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. Okay, week 7. Week 7. There we go. Back over here. I think I want to draw something for you so I can start that while we wait. Let's turn on captions. All right. Polls. Let's create a poll. Oops. Gimme. Hi, Lauren. All right. Okay. Is a title question. Oh, I see. Okay. Sorry, I'm going to talk to myself for just a few minutes. Okay, I want you to let me edit this. Let me also get my mic on correctly. If you said anything, I just realized I haven't had my earbuds in, so I wouldn't have heard you. All right, I'm setting up a poll for us, so I might talk to myself a little bit while I'm doing that. All right, check in poll. Let's see here, edit. We're going to add some more questions. Don't you make me mad. And it's hard to poll. How am I going to write this poll question? That's good enough for now. Close that. Grab this. All right. Get this out of my face. Something is not right. Something is supposed to be to here that isn't. We'll figure that out later. How are you guys doing? Pretty good. Mediocre. Yeah, I get that. Every day can't be a full energy day, unfortunately. Some days gotta be chill. Welcome, welcome. Hey, Lauren. All righty. So in the chat, you have access to our original workbook. And I'm going to give it maybe 2 minutes for folks to trickle in. And then I'd like you to do a little poll with me. So I'm going to draw something for you because it's very helpful just to always come back to like, what's the big picture here of what we're trying to do? So I'm going to draw that for you and then we'll see how you're feeling like you're doing. I guess I'm going to draw it here because that's what it wants me to do. I'm going to do this. Okay. Bring our mic with us. So are you seeing right now like a whiteboard? Okay, great. And we're going to type because the writing doesn't go well. Marketing theory overview for therapists. Okay. So we know that the most important thing you can do is be a badass therapist. And what we mean by that is know who your flow client is. So we've done a lot of work on that. That is our starting point. Then we need to be able to write compelling copy for that flow client and put it somewhere that they might actually see. So usually that's going to be a website or a directory listing. Could be other places, but it's usually one of these. You can spell them. One of these places. Okay. So this is step 2. It's not enough to write it and keep it in a Google Doc. It has to be somewhere where they can see it. So I'm going to move this bad boy over here because we really want them over here. But the problem is they're way the heck over here. So how do we get them over? And we've talked about multiple pathways over. One of them we talked about is, I like to call it relationship marketing. One way we're going to get them over there is through content marketing. And this is our long form and short form content or helpful flyers, anything like that. OCD really wants those things to line up. And then our last one, and it goes so closely with content marketing, but I'm going to separate it out just because it's going to make it a little bit cleaner, is SEOifying things. Okay. So here's our therapy client way over here. How the hell do we get them over here? Somebody tells them, hey, go to this website, sign up for that free consult. And your compelling copy is so good that they're like, yes, got to sign up. They're my person. Or perhaps they are floating around on the internet. They come across your Instagram or a mommy blogger or Reddit or somewhere where your helpful content is. Could be online, could be in real life. It doesn't matter. It could be a pamphlet somewhere. They read it and they're like, oh my gosh, I got to go get the rest of this helpful information over here at their website. Holy heck, this person's amazing. I've got to sign up. Now I'm making this sound a little bit simpler than it is, but you get the idea. And then the last one is you have SEOified the bejesus out of your website, which is all that requires is baby SEO. And so when somebody goes in and types like, hey, I need somebody focused on social anxiety, introversion, and LGBT issues, SEO is going to be like, hey, right here, right here. You want to go right here. They're going to get to that page and they're going to sign the heck up. So this is what we're looking for. It can be any of these paths and it can be all of these paths. You can do a little bit of all of them, or you can say like, Amber, I hate the idea of content marketing. I'm just going to do the first and the third. I'm just going to double down on those. Okay. Or I hate the idea of relationship marketing. I'm going to just do these other two. Right. So you can pick and choose, or you can do all of them. I have a little poll that I just created for you guys. I have never used one of these before, so I have no idea how it works, but can you even see it? If you go on the bottom and you see the word poll, do you see a poll? No. Let me see if oh, I have to push a button. Oh, you see it now. Okay. So just out of curiosity, let's see. Go ahead and fill it out and let's see A, if we can even make it work, and B, what the results are. So flow client, do you feel like you know your flow client? Is it nailing it? Pretty good, or no clue? This is so neat to see answers coming through live. That's so cool. Hey, copywriting on your website. Do you feel like you've nailed it? It's pretty good, or hot mess express? Getting people to your website. So, relationship marketing, you've contacted 10 people. You've SEOified your website by adding your keywords into your header, your subheader. And you can, I guess I set this up so that you could only pick a single choice. That wasn't really how I meant to do it, but pick whichever one you've done if you've done any of them. Or you've wrote some form of long form content and you've used some keywords and you've published the darn thing. We'll format that question better next time around.
Hi, Amber. I don't understand number 4, untitled question. What is choice 1 and what is choice 2? Sorry.
I have no idea. I don't know. It looks to me like that is an untitled question. I don't even
Okay,
see what the question is.
that's what I was wondering.
Okay. I like how you guys voted on it anyway, though. You're like, I'm going to choose number 1.
Felt
This
like
is a high achiever family right here.
feel like choice 2 was kind of this obvious, it just spoke to me.
Well, isn't B usually the answer? Isn't that how that works? If you don't know, you're supposed to pick B. No? Did you guys not know this? If you don't know, you're supposed to pick B.
If we didn't pick one, we couldn't submit the poll. So
Maggie, don't ruin it for me. Jeez
Sorry.
Louise.
sorry.
Okay, so when we look at these results, looking damn good on Flow Client, really, really nice. Nobody is saying I don't have a clue. Copywriting, we're looking like really pretty good. Couple hot mess expresses. So we can look at those today, right? We can look at those together. And then when we look down here at the pathway, our breadcrumbs to get people, from where they are to our website, this sort of makes sense in order, right? Relationship marketing, getting in touch with 10 people. We just covered that. So y'all haven't had a ton of time to do it. And yet still 5 of you have already done it, or that's the lead thing you've done. SEOified, we haven't even covered that lesson yet. Y'all are ahead of the curve. Wrote long form content informed by keywords and published a couple of you. So awesome. Really, really nice. Today, I think I already dropped the workbook in, but I'm going to drop it in to get again. We're working mostly on our long form content because next week we're going to take a piece of your long form content and we're going to get all the social media that you need out of it. So you can write one, Elena's here live. Hey, you can write one piece of long form content. And if you want, it can last you for an entire quarter. So I want to see us, unless you're like, Amber, I'm just not going to be doing that particular way. I want to see us get that piece of long form content down so that we're able to change it into short form. However, if you have questions about other pieces, if you're feeling like your copy is that hot mess express, we can look at that today. If you're feeling like I really want to do the relationship marketing and I've started rough outlining a script, but I'm not sure not feeling totally confident about it, we can look at that today. And if you need some help kind of figuring out how to organize a blog, we can do that as well. So I'm going to have you, number one, first start in the chat by sharing a win. I want you to give yourself some credit for some work that you've done over the last week that moves the needle forward for you. And when we say that, we mean moves the needle forward in our dream life. So maybe it was quality time with the kiddos. Maybe it was working on something related to the course. Whatever it happens to be, drop that in the chat. Awesome, Daniel. Maggie, crushing it. Already sent out the new postcards, made flyers as the follow up to someone who did an interview with me. Now they want to schedule a freaking group. Amazing. Wrote a blog, Veronica says, and added a nice photo. Just need to publish. Amazing. Joined an organization. Awesome. Elena went to the beach, even though I needed a sweater and a jacket in Connecticut. Good for you. Maria got my wife's 50th birthday present framed and on the wall. That's awesome. Nilda scheduled and kept a lunch with my friend. I mean, the keeping it is the hard part, isn't it? Monica working on developing long form content using the help of ChatGPT, also setting boundaries with clients and letting go of clients who are not a good fit. Awesome job. Helen planned when to launch a new yoga class. Decided not yet, but I have a plan. Awesome. Awesome. Sarah had a consult with an ideal client who will likely convert. Hey, amazing. That's awesome news. Ordered promo pens to send out. Love it. And got a new bearded dragon. Oh, I hope we can meet the bearded dragon at some point before, the end of the 12 weeks.
I can go grab her.
Oh, that would be
She's super
awesome.
tiny and cute.
Only if it makes her happy. I want to make her
She
uncomfortable.
loves snuggles. It's my husband's joke that anything that comes into contact with me turns into a snuggler. So my dog is a snuggler. Our other beardie is a snuggler. My kids are snugglers. My husband is now forced to be a snuggler. So she loves to
We would
snuggle too.
love to meet you, baby. Oh, Lauren, I got in more exercise. Consequently, I'm feeling much better. I referred out one client that doesn't fit. Awesome. Really, really good. You're inspiring me with the exercise. Lori, I completed my website homepage. Hallelujah. Also Psychology Today, but I can't remember if it was this week. We don't care. Also starting a medical professional networking group next month. Great idea. Really, really good idea. Michelle Pettengill managed emotions when I saw some ex-friends. Good on you. Making Psychology Today profile, making postcard, getting on Pinterest, made intro video. Wonderful. Michelle got my website tentatively done, first draft, and published. See, now that's what I'm talking about. Get it published. People will sit on it for months and months and months, and age matters to Google. So good job. Sat with ChatGPT for the first blog, cleaned out and changed my Instagram, old Facebook group and page, and cleared for new material. I didn't want to, but I did it anyway. Oh, you guys, that is fantastic. Sometimes you're going to sit down to do the marketing work and you're going to be like, where do I even start? There are so many options. I'm sitting here and I ended up on TikTok. I don't know what happened to the last 3 hours. When that happens, I want you to draw the diagram that I just drew for you, right? Here's our client. Here's our website. Here are our pathways. What am I doing to move them down the pathway? Okay. And sometimes you'll notice, let me share this with you one more time because I want to demonstrate something. Sometimes you'll notice like it's not just a single thing to get them over here, right? So let's say that you reached out to, somebody, make it a circle. It's not going to do it. Damn it. Pretend that's a circle. So you reached out to 10 people. One person hit you back up. You reached back out to them. Okay. And then you reached back out to the 10 people again. One of them hit you back up. You followed up with them and the original person that hit you back up. So we have to keep getting closer and closer over here. It's not one act. And the same with content marketing. You make a blog, that's great. The blog the blog is over here. So how the heck do we get them there? We're going to do some SEOifying. We're going to point people directly there. We're going to put it on our social media. Maybe we're going to drop it off at a doctor's office. What are all the things that we're doing to get people over there with that one thing? So keep in mind, you don't want to kind of scatter shot if you're feeling lost and confused. Think about, where am I farthest along, and kind of push that part a little bit farther along. I had a coach. I'm sorry if I've already told you this. I feel like an old person when I do this. No offense to old people, but you guys do have worse memories. Sorry. So my coach told me, she's like, listen, Amber, you've got like this huge pile of bricks and you're trying to build this house and you're working your butt off. You're going over to the bricks and you're moving them, but you're moving them side by side by side by side by side. You're never piling them one up on the other, on the other, on the other. So when you're thinking about these pathways, we've got to make sure that we're building them towards something. We're breadcrumbing them towards that website. I've had people tell me, like, I've put up a directory listing, I've finished the copy on my website, I put a few posts on social media and I'm not getting any clients. But if we think about it from the potential client's perspective, we have to think through, okay, well, where are they? Would they have even seen that friggin' Facebook post? Probably not. They're only seeing 1 to 3% if they're following us on Facebook. So it's probably not the best path there. It's helpful to do, but it's not the best path to us. So what can we do to make that a little bit easier, and drive them along the path? Make sense? Okay. Can you share the diagram in the document? Sure. Yeah, I think that I can even get a link for it because Zoom is getting fancy. Yeah. Share. Just give me the link. Viewer. There we go. All right, I'm going to pop that in the chat. Okie dokie. I'm going to go, oh my, lots of comments that I missed. Wins. Lori says, that's me today. I'm feeling tired, crampy, and foggy. I want to try and get something accomplished. It's totally fine to mute us. And if you haven't muted yet, I have been in the same mood today. And I don't know if any of you do cycle syncing. Does anybody do that? Yeah. If you are like tracking your cycles, so it can be menstrual cycles, hormonal cycles, it can be lunar cycles, but we're all pushed by all of these different cycles happening in our lives. And there are times menstrually where the energy is through the roof, and other times where you're just, exhausted. So I try to schedule things accordingly, but life doesn't always agree with that. So do what you need to do. All right. Can you share the diagram? Got it. Okay. Totally get it, y'all. All right. So I'm going to zip it so that you can work. Unless I see hands go up, remember that to put your hand up to ask a question. There is a little reaction button. I think that's where it is. Yep. The reaction button on the bottom of the screen. And there is a raise hand icon. So I will be keeping my eyes out and I will be keeping myself more quiet, as quiet as I can make myself. If you want to name what you're working on in the comments, that might motivate others. All right, Michelle, what you got?
Just really quickly while I have you here, because I had kind of mentioned it last week, but just a clarification of on the bottom of the website, because I'm kind of using that format, parts of it. The restating of the distilled message. I just kind of wanted to get clearer on the idea of what that's supposed to be. I put something there, but
Okay. Hold on one second. I just pushed a button and my volume got really, really high. So let me fix that. And please let me know, you guys, I'm just learning this new mic. So if I'm yelling in your ears, please tell me because I just yelled in my own. Okay, so distilled message. Let me give you like the point of it first, a point of putting it at the bottom. So we put it, you can almost think about it just like a blog, how at the top of the blog, we're saying, this is what this is about. And then in the summary, we're saying it again. That's sort of the same thing that we're doing here. And the people who are the analytical buyer, a lot of people, there are different buyer types. So one buyer type is the impulsive buyer. They hit the page, they read that first distilled message, they see a picture like that's me, they hit that call to action button and they sign up. There's the analytical buyer, there's 5 buyer types. The analytical is reading every friggin' detail, maybe twice. So by the time they get to the bottom, they can kind of have gotten lost in what am I doing here again? So when we give that distilled message again, it pulls them back. And the distilled message is, I help blank, the who, I help blank to do blank so that they can blank. And sometimes we get fancy and say without blank.
Perfect. Thank you.
You got it. All right. Now, some of you creating a damn Wix account finally. I hear you. Working on lesson 7. All right. So sometimes I get a private message if somebody doesn't want to say something publicly. So if you're feeling like, holy crap, I am so far behind, I have not done any of the things yet, I want you to ask yourself, are you the sort of learner that needs to take it all in first before you get into action? Because some of us are like that. We need to kind of learn, like absorb, and then we go back. And when we listen in the second time, then we're like, okay, I can take action. I can take action. I can take action. So that's many of us, and that is A-O to the K. So you have access to the course recordings forever and ever and ever because we are all different types of learners. So in terms of what to do right now, if you're like, dang, I need clients, but I'm that type of learner, but I need clients. Probably the number one thing you can do, the fastest way to get clients is connecting through relationships. So think about like, where do I have closest relationships I could connect to? We don't all have this. This is just the fastest way if you have them. So if you have a sorority that you've been involved in, if you've worked in any sort of agency that might have people working there who could refer the sort of people that you like to work with into your practice, go back and make connections. The second would be, don't worry about your website, but do worry about Psychology Today. Get that bad boy filled in so that people can actually schedule with you. The third thing, if you don't already have it, is make sure that you have a way to schedule those appointments. Okay. So payment processor, find a way, if you're just using Google Calendar, whatever, and de-identifying clients, just think like, what is the minimum necessary that I need to do so that if somebody were to give me a client, I could get one. And then the last is, if you have personal social media and you're active on it, post stuff about what you're doing. And what that looks like isn't, I need clients or I'm open to accepting clients. That's okay, but it's not as good as something like, my gosh, I'm loving telehealth so much. I was able to meet with people when they were on vacation, stressed with their families. And like, my gosh, what I wouldn't have done for that sort of support when I've been traveling and away from my primary support and having to visit my crazy family, like whatever it happens to be. Don't give away identifying details of your client or even too much client stuff. Nobody likes that. But if you are mentioning things about your practice, you are staying front of mind for people without having to ask for referrals. Or if you're taking a stand on something, like I always think, if I were to try to trigger thoughts for myself, I hate it when, or I just wish that, kind of that wand method stuff, those are good post creators. Like I might post something like, it drives me bananas when somebody says that they specialize in trauma and they don't discriminate between simple trauma and complex trauma, because the way you treat them in Amber's mind is very freaking different. Well, that post is going to intrigue people. And it's also just something that I would write because I would be irritated. And then that's going to keep me front of mind. They're going to be like, oh, my cousin has some sort of trauma. I should tell them about Amber. And you will get referrals that way. All right, Helen.
Hi, thanks. I had some reflections on Chat GPT. So I did during the week kind of sit down with that for the first time. I was trying to do a win-win. There's a talk that I'm needing to prepare. So I thought, well, that would be a good blog topic to start working on. And it's both remarkable and disturbing. But I did find, well, I ran one search and something kind of went a bit screwy. So it stopped halfway through. And it came up with an error message. So I thought that was fine. So I ran the same one again. And I was kind of curious, would it build, does it start from scratch? Would it have the same wording? And I actually did that 3 times in a row. And it does look as though, it's very similar content, but the wording wasn't quite the same.
That's so interesting.
But what was a little bit more troubling, because I'm doing some training on grief, and I was wanting to look up, thought I'd prep something on, everyone is familiar with the stages of grief, but not so to do something on the, a different model, the tasks of grief. So I plugged that in, and in all 3, it attributed it to a different person. So there was a little bit like, oh, okay, yeah, just needing to do that kind of reference checking.
Yes, for sure. And fact checking.
Yeah.
If you're getting information that's brand new to you, fact check.
So that did sort of throw me off as being like, okay, it's not quite such an easy hit.
Right.
The other thing that, and I meant to forward to you, there was quite an interesting article in one of our UK newspapers. And I'm just going to read out a little bit, and I'll forward the link. And it's the headline is Microsoft's new Chat GPT AI starts sending unhinged messages to people. And then the subheading is system appears to be suffering a breakdown as it ponders why it has to exist at all. So it's like having a sort of existential crisis, which was just sort of, again, weird and funny and disturbing. So anyway.
Yeah, I would love to see that. My friend was asking it. She's like, I don't want to call you Chat GPT. I want to call you your name. What's your name? And it's like, I'm an AI. I don't have a name. You can give me any name you want. She's like, no, but I want to call you a name that you like. It couldn't figure out how to respond to that.
And I think some people have been doing stuff to really kind of mess with its head, which seems to be working. So, yeah.
And bizarre. I mean, it's bizarre. Why are we like that?
But anyway,
I'm
interesting to
polite
give it
to
a
the
try.
damn thing. I can't help it. Like, thank you. You know? Oh my. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Amber, can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
So I'm finding that like from Psychology Today to like Pinterest, everything sounds the same. So is that okay to have your copy, across the board all the same? Because I don't want to have them go to my, have them go to my website and then read the same thing.
Yeah, you want it to be, I used to say something different that I'm going to say now, but I've learned some things. You want it can have the same vibe. We want it to, it can cover the same content, but you don't want it to be verbatim. So SEO will give precedence to wherever you put that copy first, if it's verbatim in other places. So sometimes that messes people up. And if it's verbatim in lots of places, you may not get as much traction. So it doesn't have to be hugely different, just slightly different.
Okay, that makes me feel better. Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
I've got Cupid if you want a little lizard love and a distraction.
He's tiny.
Yeah, super duper tiny. So Cupid is about, I think my husband said like a couple weeks old. So our other Beardy we got like 2 days before Christmas a couple years ago, and she's sand colored. So of course I have loved terrible jokes. So her name is Sandy Claus. And so of course we just got this little love nugget. And so their name is Cupid.
Oh my gosh, she is so freaking
Yeah.
cute. Now, I think
Yep.
she's cute at a distance. If she scrambled towards me, I would totally freak out. She's so cute at a distance. Oh,
She just likes to hold on to anything she can and run around. She has scared my 7-year-old because she was on my husband and decided, nope, I want to go explore. Just decided to run across him and he didn't expect it. But she's she's like, what are you doing? But she's going to basically get to the length from the tip of my finger all the way to my forearm
yeah.
when
I
she's an
actually
adult.
like them better when they're bigger. They don't freak me out as much. Like I can see them, so it's not going to surprise me if they run at me. Oh,
Yep.
what a cutie patootie.
I know. She's super
Keep us-
sweet. And our other Beardy is fully grown. So she's just like massive size, but little love nugget.
Do they pair up? Like, do they have relationships with each other?
Not really. The only time that you can really successfully have Beardies like cohabitate in a tank is if they're all female, or if like they're hatchlings together. So Sandy is a male, and we're not sure what Cupid is yet. She was too young to sex. I have 2 boys and a husband, so I'm like, I need all the estrogen I can get. You're all gonna be girls. I don't care. So once we find out, I mean, no matter what, since Sandy's a boy, we won't be able to have them in the same tank. So we'd have to get 2 tanks no matter what. But they can at least like look at each other. It's just like, are you gonna fight or whatnot kind of thing. But
Oh, thanks so much for
yeah,
sharing and pictures in the group as she gets
absolutely.
older or he gets older, whatever it is.
Yes.
I can't hear you.
That's because I have myself on mute. Thank you. We had a question about the fact that the content is available forever for your cohort, but can you join again live as well? And the answer is yes. When we run it again live, we'll always send out a notice to you so that if you want to pay to go through it live again, you can. The recorded content for you and your cohort always here. I think that one day, my fantasy is one day I'm going to pre-record all the content in tiny little chunks so that you can move through and feel more successful moving through in small pieces. And that will be available to everybody as well. The live components, there will be a charge for, especially if you want to do like the Voxer coaching or the asset reviews and things like that, but it will be available.
Amber, I have a question whenever you get a moment.
Here for it.
So I was just using ChatGPT to write thank you notes to some of the people that I was networking with earlier this week. And so, which actually brought to my mind a question I wanted to kind of get your opinions on, which is like these groups to like either be a part of or membership of, to like network with other people or not. And really like, what are some of the more like cost effective, like, networking opportunities to meet people at or not? So I wanted to just get your thoughts on those, like things to avoid, things to maybe consider.
Yeah, I don't have a bunch of groups that come to mind immediately. Do you have places that you're thinking of?
One that I'm kind of toying with the idea, but I haven't said yes to, just because I find that everybody wants your money and nobody really wants to like guarantee that actually you'll get what your investment is. But the Chamber of Commerce in my area, I've attended a few of their like free events. And again, everybody says like, yep, it's a great opportunity to join and you meet people, but I'm just not really sure if it actually would turn into that or not. So I
How
have
much
done
is
like
it?
a Rotary Club in the past.
Mhm.
Let's see. So they are, I think it's 700 a year. So for them, and it gets you into each of their monthly events, and then they do like a year-end thing too.
Do they feed you?
I'm not sure actually. I could check.
I mean,
They
I-
they
I'm not,
might.
that is part of my equation, right? Like, am I going to be fed or am I going to need to also pay for food when I go to these events, which adds to the expense because I am going to need to eat. So
Right.
I'm only halfway joking. I mean, really, $700 if you're going to feed me 12 times during the year feels a little easier than if I'm not going to get any food. Complimentary beverage would also be appreciated, but that's kind of pushing things. I
Mhm.
think it really depends on your ideal client, and the community that you're in. So in my community, being part of the Chamber of Commerce is not going to do a damn thing for me. It's going to be
Mhm.
mostly male. It's going to be mostly significantly older than the demographic that I'm treating. They're probably, well, those two things alone are probably rule outs for me. So it's in part going to depend on where you are. I have heard great things about the Chamber of Commerce as a way to network and meet people, but I think it depends on your demographic and your
Mhm.
niche, and also where you're located.
Mhm.
So when you look at this group, you've been to some of the events. Are these your
Mhm.
people?
Interestingly, some of them are, which is where I kind of always get stuck because it doesn't take that many clients to justify, a referral source.
Exactly.
But I would say that the thing that I run into is, and I ran into this, I did a Rotary Club for a little bit, and I went with a friend to one of their BNI groups just because you can check them out like as often as you want. Um, but what I kind of find is that what people tell you to sign up is very different than what the actual experience is in some of these things. Um,
Mhm.
so I think that's the part where I'm just trying to like, and unfortunately, I guess sometimes you don't know until you actually do it. But yeah.
Yeah, I just heard such really mixed results, and it all seems very unique to the situation. My experience of
Mhm.
you, Daniel, is you're very go-getter. You get shit
Mhm.
done, you build relationships. I don't know that you need a group like this to fill your practice.
Mhm.
Are the connections probably helpful? It's not an insane amount of money. If I felt like it was low hanging fruit for me and I would enjoy it, it was kind of like an easy win for me and I was going to get side benefits of food or meeting people that I might like or
Mhm.
schmoozing with a crowd that might support my career in even a different way, like connecting me to a radio show or something like that,
Mhm.
then I might try it out for a year. And for me, it would be absolute hell. Like, I do not want to have to go and socialize. And that sounds like a terrible idea to me. So I think it depends on those factors. And even with BNI, I've heard such disparate experiences across
Mhm.
different BNI groups, where some groups you get really, really pushed into, you have to get these numbers and you have to refer this many people or you're out and, the 7 a.m. meetings and stuff like that. So, and then others, I have a friend who's in a BNI like program. She freaking loves it. She's like, this is my social connection. I really like these people. It's been a great way to build community. and she gets referrals.
Mhm.
Do you need it? No. Could
Right.
it fit? Maybe.
Okay.
And
No, that's
what I
helpful.
will say, y'all, is be careful with those places that are like, pay us $800 and we'll give you a radio spot. You'll be able to talk for 20, 30 minutes and, we'll link to your information or something like that. I have yet to see one of those pan out into anything. So you should not have to pay to create content for them. It kind of either should be the other way around or it should be no fee. ChatGPT is so my friend right now.
It writes great thank you letters or thank you notes if anybody needs like original ways to say thank you. So
Good to know. Real good to know. Whoa, Maggie, I had no idea it did that. What the heck? Do we think it's right?
Yeah, I said, because I copied a blog post that I'd been writing and was like talking back and forth about who it was for and what I'm going for there. And I was like, give me some often searched key phrases that I could use as headers. And it gave me a whole bunch of ideas. And then it added, and you might want to do some key searching about this and this, which might be related. And then I said, okay, based on the conversation we've had, please review and give me key phrases for my SEO and a meta description. And it did that. And then it added a third one with hashtags. It's the
I know.
secretary I've always wanted.
No doubt. Oh my gosh, that's freaking amazing. Oh, thanks for sharing that. Awesome. Hey.
I have a question for you, Amber, whenever you get a moment.
Only have moments. I am here for y'all.
So the question I have, actually, this comes back to some of those YouTube videos. And so I created a postcard flyer and have the QR code on it, and people can click on it, or they scan the QR code and they go and kind of learn some more sleep tips. But I wanted to kind of brainstorm if there's any other ways that I should be using these videos or can be using them. And the reason why I ask is there's 3 more videos that are about to go that I'm about to pull from the TV station. They're going to go on there. And so I didn't know how else I can use them. Like,
Mhm.
what else could they be used for?
Yeah, we want as much content out of there as possible.
Mhm.
Something my business coach does that's so freaking smart. He pulls these little clips, like these little, almost like, if you were to see a TV show being highlighted and they just showed you a clip and you're like a teaser. He pulls little teasers out of podcasts or videos and things like that. And then he uses them as short form content on his social media. So that would be one way to kind of drive people over. And
Mhm.
remind me what the content is about, because there might be some more direct ways to go.
Yeah, so for right now, the majority of the content's usually always been about sleep tips and helping people to kind of sleep better. I'm doing another interview actually tomorrow. It's going to be about like men's health. So that one actually I think it could have a little bit more of a broader appeal.
Mhm.
And then
Okay.
so yeah, so some of them are starting to broaden beyond the initial reason why they found me.
I would contact sleep clinics, and I would also
Mhm.
contact other therapists who specialize in sleep to see if they wanted to share it on their social media or their blogs or things like that. But sleep clinics would be where I would start looking. And then
Mhm.
if you want to get more into, I know you're trying to kind of like bridge a divide with your 2 different ideal clients. There's no reason that you can't take the sleep content to the second flow clients' places of
Mhm.
hangouts, because we know everybody struggles
Right.
with sleep issues in every population. There are people that are struggling with sleep issues. So it could be your like active service that gets your foot in the door with
Mhm.
any organization that fits with that second ideal client.
Okay. That's a good idea. I
Yeah,
hadn't thought about that. Yeah.
we want to repurpose that.
Well, and one of the ideas I was thinking of, and I haven't done this yet, but is to like turn maybe each kind of YouTube video, which is just kind of like an interview, into maybe like a blog post kind of on the website. And then see if like the SEO from that might help a little bit. So
Yep.
um, so I wanted to kind of, I mean, that sounds like I love the idea of it, but then I'm like, ooh, that's a lot of work. Like that's a lot of like
Oh, no, it
figuring
doesn't have
that part
to be
out.
a lot of work. No, 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 no.
Okay.
Put it through a program like Teemi, Teemi,
Oh,
or
okay.
if you're cheap and you don't want to pay their low rate, you can go into a Word doc or a Google Doc or whatever and turn on transcription dictation and play the audio
Ooh, okay.
of the interview, and it will dictate it for you. And then you can go
Okay.
in and just like edit it or put it in freaking Chat GPT and tell it to organize it into a
Sure.
blog. What the hell? Life has gotten so weird.
No, that's a good idea. Okay, I'll follow up on that one. I hadn't thought about that. That's again like another like way of like how do you leverage this thing that you're not
Mhm.
sure what to really do with. So
Yeah, yeah. Ooh, fun stuff. I'm just sitting here working on my own content. So y'all are not like holler anytime you need me.
I have a couple quick questions. One is, we were talking about finding the keywords, like looking up the keywords. And I know that we talked about that a little bit, but other than like going to Google and like kind of typing it in and seeing what searches come up, I kind of did that. What else do you think is a real good, like useful way to
Get in
grab that?
there. Yeah, 2 paths. So there is a video in the Google Doc where I walk you through
Okay.
Moz. It's a quick video. And then if you want to get fancy pants, and remember, SEO is a long-term game, so we don't want to spend a ton of time. I think my ideal self, not my actual self, my ideal self would spend an hour a month playing with adding SEO, but no more than that. And just do that every single month, an hour a month, an hour a month.
Yeah.
Because it is one of those rabbit holes you could go down for a long time and get overwhelmed. But Moz is a good place to start.
Okay.
And then if you want to get fancier pants than that, there is an SEO training video in there that Nick Fuller has done for us, and he gets deeper.
Okay.
And that's farther along in the course.
Okay. And that talks about like not only how to find that, but how to place it
Yes.
to get, okay.
Yes.
Perfect.
You got it.
I forgot my other question, so. Oh,
Well,
I know what it was. So kind of looking at this, I'm thinking of like the blogs I was doing. I'm thinking more of doing a series, like here's kind of my experience and this is what it looks like. And then, you know, in the next blog, I'll cover how is autistic burnout different than possibly other kinds of burnout. And then maybe go into like different things you could obviously, you know, things you can do, more information, that kind of stuff. And if I were to do you think that's okay to separate it out like that?
Yes, yes, yes. It's much cleaner for the reader. It's just
Okay.
much easier to take in the material. And it's awesome to be able to link back and forth between blogs. So big fan.
Awesome. Thank you.
You got it. Try to get them to like 1,500 or more words because Google really likes it. Yeah, Helen.
Yeah, just thinking about that, you know, adding to blogs over time on your website. And I guess I'd always been struck if I visited a website and there's, you know, a couple of blogs, but not much posted very recently, that would always, I guess, leave a bit of a negative image for me. It's just like, oh, someone's not very, I mean, I'm not a social media person, not expecting like someone to be on it all the time. But I guess I'd have that worry that it just looks a bit bad or a bit dated if you're not posting regularly. So I don't even know what my question is there. I guess I'm feeling like I'd quite like to write some useful things. So it's more like little essays. I think it's just the word blog to me sounds like it should be very regular and very frequent. So even naming it something else, or I don't know.
That's totally fine. You can name it whatever you want. You can name it love letters. You could name it anything you want. I do think that some of that, I think it comes from two places. One, the people that want you to buy their blogging courses really want you to believe that you need to blog all the time. But then there's also a little truth to blogging consistently. So what that tells Google when we are consistently making any change or addition to our website is that we're still in business and they should still show our website to people. So whether that's your blog or you've added a new picture or whatever it happens to be, we do want to send the message to Google and to Google My Business. Hey, we're still here. We're still kicking. We're still doing stuff. The same with your Psychology Today. That's why when you go in once a month and take a space out or add a period in, you find yourself back towards the top of the algorithm. I think from a reader point of view, I think it would depend on your ideal client. You know, like I think it would depend on the person. And even if there was some like, oh, they haven't posted anything for 7 months or whatever it happens to be, or 3 years, if the content they did see was something that really resonated with them, you know, they might make a totally different assumption. My assumption would be like, oh, they must have gotten full of clients. You know, they're not blogging anymore. They're not having to market anymore. So they must be full. That would have been my impression. It is more helpful. Let's say that you do your 4 blogs, you get them all written. It is more helpful to dole them out over time than to dump them on the website all at once. It's not a huge deal either way, but it is more helpful to do like 1 a month or 1 a quarter or whatever the rate is that you're going to put them out. But I do like to batch them, get them done, not have to think about them anymore.
I just want to take a 3-month vacation. Ow.
I hear a video playing somewhere in the background with I don't want to do the work today.
For 3 minutes and then end up back on your phone or just doing nothing. It's a self-reinforcing cycle that just
Let me see where that is. I hear somebody's audio.
find the answer to my laziness, the solution.
I don't see where it's coming from though. Maybe it's coming from my computer, but I don't hear it on my side. Let me see. Did you keep hearing it when I muted myself? Okay, good. So it's on me. Oh, Maggie's saying no. Helen did. I want it to be on Helen's computer and not mine. I don't hear it right now. Nobody else is hearing it. Okay. There is an app you can get, and it's probably a good idea. I don't have it, but there's an app that you can get that will immediately ping you to tell you what tab the sound is coming from on your computer. I don't know if you've ever had the situation where you've been watching a bunch of YouTube videos or TikToks or something like that. You go into session, suddenly there's something playing in the background and you can't find the tab because you have 80 of them open, where that music is coming from. No, if that's not familiar to you, then we might not be each other's people. But there is some sort of app you can get that tells you what that is, and I should probably get it. Right. Chat GPT just gave me some ideas for creating videos to manage anxiety. I love that it creates ideas and I can build on new ideas. Is the heartbeat for me. Yes. Yes, we do take things for granted. Things that seem so common to us, we don't realize that for other people, it's brand new information. Ryan, I don't know if the date matters. I don't know if the date matters. I know Google knows when it was posted, whether or not the date is on it. Google knows on the back end. So my guess is that date is just for the audience. So my guess is that it doesn't matter to have it off. Like it might be helpful to have it off. Just want to give you guys a heads up that we're at the 2:30 mark. So we have about 20 more minutes. If there's anything you want me to put my eyes on, it's a good time to get it in front of me, and no pressure if not. Oh, Michelle, that's so annoying. I'm sorry. Definitely use that 30-second video. That's so frustrating. Use that 30-second video in other places. You can have that as a repeating post on all of your social media. Sorry, just saw it, See here. What is an example of a call to action for a blog? Do I ask them to schedule with me? Okay, really good question. It depends on the blog. So if we think about, if you put your empathy shoes on and you think through what the blog is about, it's going to feel kind of natural what you say next. So if you were saying something like, the 10 signs that your relationship is going to make it for 10 more years. You know, or let me say that differently. The 10 signs your relationship won't make it for 10 years. Okay. They get to the end of a blog like that, it might make sense to invite them for a free consultation to see if therapy would help them to, fix the issues in their relationship so the relationship could last. But you have to make it kind of close. It's almost like, think about it this way. If you went out on a first date with somebody, I know I'm going to offend somebody. If you went out on a first date and you met them, you sit down with your cocktail and you say, hey, you want to get married? That's weird. That's hopefully not going to go down well. So we want to kind of match for where the relationship is. Pay attention to the tone and the vibe of the blog. So some alternative suggestions. If you know it's too early to propose yet, you could say, you can learn a little bit more. If you've been thinking about therapy, but you're not ready to kind of pull the lever yet, and you want to learn a little bit more about me, you can go over here and learn a little bit more about me. Or if this blog got you interested in knowing more of the signs and symptoms of X, I did a video about that on YouTube. You can go check out the video here and then link them to another piece of content. You're basically warming up that relationship. You might also have an engagement call to action. So I was just listening to somebody on YouTube the other day and I was like, you are very smart. So he was doing his spiel and doing his YouTube video, and his call to action was, it was so sneaky. He was like, I really want this video to be helpful for you. Tell me what you found helpful. And I'm like, yeah. Everybody says that, I'm probably not going to do it. He goes, by putting in the comments the timestamp where you found the content most helpful. It was so damn specific that I was paying so much attention because I really wanted to figure out, like, okay, so let me give him good feedback. Which timestamp is the right timestamp? Like, obviously, that's going to appeal to a certain sort of person, but that real specificity. So you can even say which of these 5 tips was most helpful for you, or which one of these 5 tips do you feel like is just really not a good fit for your situation? So get a conversation going in the chat. Maybe engagement, send them to something else, call them to set up an appointment. I saw somebody do a blog about like signs that your therapist is, they said something real snarky. I can't remember what it was, but basically like unethical and not a good therapist. And then the call to action at the end was for readers to share their most cringeworthy therapy story. I don't think that's a smooth move, but it got a ton of engagement. There were a lot of very concerning stories in the chat. So probably don't use that one, but you can be inspired by what's going to get people talking if you're looking for engagement to be the next piece. Yep. Good. Oh, Sarah, good suggestion. Something a previous cohort did that I think was freaking brilliant. And I think that Sherry Gustafson led this charge. If you want to look her post up in the group, she said, I don't know why we're all working so hard to get backlinks from other people. So that is like having your blog mentioned on somebody else's blog when we could just be doing that for ourselves. So a bunch of them got together, linked to all their blogs in the comments in our group, in the marketing intensive group, and then just backlink to each other in their blogs. So they're sending traffic all the way around and they're telling Google, hey, we're legit. Look at us. We've been linked to by 8 different therapists, and we must be a legitimate website. Yeah, you can and should do that with Psychology Today profiles and Google My Business. Absolutely. Michelle says, I'm not in your VIP. However, I emailed asking what other options there are as cannot upload my copy to Kartra VIP. Okay, so just in case y'all might not even know what the heck the VIP is. So in the beginning, when you purchase the course, you have the option to add another level, which would allow you to give me a piece of your copy, an asset review every month for me to go through, edit, give you feedback in video, and then send you the video. And then also to have walkie-talkie access to me 24/7. And then I answer 3 or 4 days a week. So if you're like, dang, I really need to have an asset review, but I didn't want to make the investment in the VIP, that was more than I needed, that was bigger than I needed. I think the only other alternative that I can think of, and I don't know if it would be worth it to you, is I can review it in a, like you could book a coaching call with me, which is just a block of 50 minutes of my time. They were $300 the last time I looked. I don't know if we've increased the cost. And I can usually get through probably 6 to 7 pages of copy in one of those sessions. So that might be an option. If you're interested, just email me and we'll figure something out. But the other and the much cheaper option with that is I would run it through ChatGPT and then I would list it in the group and see if you guys can give each other feedback too. I'm happy to do it. I just feel, cautious about asking you for a bunch of money to do it if your peers and ChatGPT might be able to, do a good job. But asset reviews are freaking fun for me. I love doing them. You got it. Last time, you know what also could be helpful? Last round, did a couple this time, but last round in the marketing intensive group, sometimes I added asset reviews that I did for the VIP folks into the group so that you could also see them just to get the vibe of what it was like and to learn from other people's asset reviews. And I'm pretty sure, I'm just looking here in the media section, I'm pretty sure I didn't upload them as videos. I think they were all Loom links. So let me see if there's a way to find those with the search bar. Hey. Oh, search features are so cool. So if you go into the marketing intensive group and you use the search bar and you type in Loom, Loom, you're going to see all the asset reviews that I have done in the past that might be helpful for you. because usually the issues are the same across all of them. It's not like people have unique things that they're working through. We're all making the same sorts of errors, or we can all improve in the same kinds of ways. Yeah. Not the best marketing on my behalf, but I would really like you to be able to get what you need as cheaply as possible. All right, we're getting close to closing time. Any other questions before we wrap up? We're going to be moving into short form content next week. That's going to be, I hope, to feel like a lighter lift, especially with our new friend ChatGPT. It can feel fun and creative. There are lots of shortcuts and hacks that we get to use, and it's not that important. So we don't want to spend a lot of our brain space on it. Helen, what's your question?
Sorry, I wasn't following. You said the Loom links. Is that on the Kartra site, or is that?
No, that's in, sorry, that's in the
Is that
Facebook
only
group.
if
I'll
you're
show you.
if you're only on Facebook?
Yeah,
Ah.
yeah. I can,
Person in the world who's not on Facebook.
well, you know what? I can link them for you in the chat right now. So this is Ryan's. I'm gonna just copy link address, and you can download this chat, or you can just copy. Let me make sure that that opens up to where we want it to. No, it opened up to Facebook. That's no, wait. It opened up to the right place. Okay. So there is one. I'll grab. I want to support anybody not being on Facebook in any way I can, because I feel like we're wasting a lot of our lives on there. There are a lot of good parts to it, but man, oh man, is it a time suck. All right. Oh, this is just a good video that you're otherwise not going to see. So I'm going to give you this one too. I should find a way to put these in Kartra as well. Copy link address. That's a hideous video. We're not doing that one. Okay, I think that should be a good chunk. Oh, I'm going to include one more. This is Yarlene's, and man, Yarlene is an amazing writer. Her work is out freaking standing. Okay.
It's fantastic. Thanks.
You're welcome. And you can get that. You can just grab them all individually if you want. I think there's also a way to download the chat. Yeah, if you go to the 3 little buttons at the bottom, but I think they'll be hyperlinked if you grab them directly from the chat. All right. Any other questions before we wrap up? Are we feeling like we made good progress? Did we get some stuff done? Would productivity videos be helpful? Damn it, nobody wants productivity. Dying to make
I
them.
would
I'm
say,
just-
yeah, I would.
Okay, I might end up making them regardless of interest, because I'm just dying to make the dang things. So I love that stuff. All righty. I hope that you all have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Were you able to get everything you needed out of the chat? I don't want to turn this off until you have what you need. Helen, do you have everything? The chats are uploaded into
Kind of
Kartra.
paste, and it's
Yes. What was
not
that?
doing- I was just trying to copy. It says it's copied from the chat, but I'm not managing to paste it. I'll just fiddle with that.
Yeah, I can hang.
Were you saying that aren't the chats getting uploaded on Kartra?
It does. Although I'm not 100% convinced these will be hyperlinked there, which would be annoying. So let me,
I'm just doing a different copy straight from the chat, not from the 3 dots.
Yeah, I think that's probably smarter. I would just click on each one and it will open in a new tab for you. And then you'll have them all on your computer.
Yeah, got it. Thank you.
Awesome. All right. I don't want to close it out if anybody needs it. Good. All right, my friends, I will see you next week on Tuesday, and we're going to keep on chugging along. That will be our week 8. Week 8. You all have been making mad progress. All right, see you soon.